Good morning to all lecturers. Today we will be presenting about implementation of EKSA in Ministry of Rural Development. But before we started our presentation, I would like to introduce first our group members.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Jazima Farina binti Juhari.
My name is Chelsie Madeline Henry.
And my name is Abd Loi Teck Hin, who will be the first presenter for the introduction. So EKSA stands for Public Conducive Ecosystem. It's introduced as Amalan 5S, which are consist by sorting, CC, arranging, susun, swab, sapu, uniform, seragam, and last but not least, consistency, which is Sentiasa Amal. EKSA is led by Malaysia Administrative Modernization and Planning Unit, which we call as MAMPU. EKSA was introduced in 2040 after rebranding it from Amalan 5S. This is one of the approach to create better organization in public sector, which MAMPU give an award for those who are able to practice EKSA properly in the organization. For example, Ministry of Rural Development received their award from EKSA and it increased their productivity in the organization. Hence, EKSA can create a safe environment to the organization and increase their efficiency. Let's talk about this agency background. The agency that we call as Ministry of Rural Development Agency are now held by Dr. Haji Abdul Latif Amat that are responsible in ensuring rural development community to get a good care. This agency was established on 17 November 1959, which Tun Abdul Razak was the first person who became the Ministry of Rural Development at that time for 30 years of his duty. So, around his era, he already introduced transformation of rural development in which his purpose is to improve urban infrastructure and give various of basic facility for rural area. Besides that, Ministry of Rural and Regional Development also played a critical role in improving the village area based on the ideal and resilient accordance with the national vision. Rural Transformation has implemented government policy in addressing the poverty and rural degradation with their slogan to modernize the rural area. So, based on history, Ministry of Rural and Regional Development was first known as the Ministry of National and Rural Development that formed on 17 November 1959. But with the cooperation from three departments, which are the Sarawak Land Development Authority, Bintulu Development Authority, and the Sarawak Land Consolidation and Rehabilitation Board, the agency was then renamed on 27 March 2004. Not only that, the ministry also set many goals in increasing rural village wages to 80% of the urban population by 2020. In this case, they expect that 30% of village residents to be involved in entrepreneurial practice in 2022. This includes in creating a knowledgeable and skillful society in way to accelerate the implementation of the concept in integrated development program, improving the well-being of village community, increasing income and job opportunity for people that live in rural area. When the Red Book was first released in 6 May 1960, it was the beginning of the rural growth where Malaysia was held up as a blueprint by others for having a sophisticated and multinational approach to improve the rural area. This agency also consists with the first Malaysia plan that began in 1956 until 1960 for economic development with a particular emphasis on the rural field. This is due to the fact that in comparison to the metropolitan area, rural area have very little access at the time. Then they released the second Malaysia plan that operates since 1961 until 1965 to continue and improve the planning. Our presentation will be continued by Chelsie Madeline Henry.
Thank you, Albert. My name is Chelsie Madeline Henry, and now it's my turn to present about the implementation of EKSA in the Ministry of Rural Development. Ecosystem Conducive Sector Awam, which is also known as EKSA, was introduced in January 2014 by the Malaysian Administrative and Management Planning, MAMPU, as a rebranding initiative of the public sector 5S practices, which is known as sorting, CC, arranging, susun, sweep, sapu, uniform, seragam, and consistency, Sentiasa Amal. This initiative is focusing with the need for a better quality workplace environment to be more relevant to all public sector departments and agencies in Malaysia. This rebranding is very appropriate and important because it is in line with the changes and current needs to further improve the performance of the organization as well as further invigorate the innovative culture among public sector departments and agencies, especially the Ministry of Rural Development. For the first element is sorting, CC. In this element, the Ministry of Rural Development pays full attention to the segregation and disposal of items that are no longer needed in the workplace. This sorting element involves three main activities, namely, the first one, items that have no value and that are easy to dispose should be disposed of immediately. Second, items that have value but no future use, then the item will be disposed or sold according to the established procedures. Third, items that have no value but involve a high disposal cost, then the Ministry of Rural Development should determine the method that involves with the lowest and most minimal cost possible. The method of segregation and disposal of goods can be implemented through the method of red tag and yellow tag. For items marked with a red tag, it means that the items are no longer needed and are not used in the workplace. Meanwhile, the yellow tag is for the items that are still under evaluation, where consideration is being taken whether the item will be disposed or not. Second element is arranging, susun. This arranging element or susun can be referred to the principle of each and every item has their own place and that place must have the item in it. This clearly emphasizes on the method of items arrangement that is focused on orderly, neat, effective, and safe method or order. This element involves the arrangement of items in the first in, first out order, which carries the meaning that items acquired first are disposed first. That also can give benefit to the Ministry of Rural Development because less chance of absolute and spoil stock. Items arranged in a first in, first out order should be labeled and index names and subsequent numbers stored by category. A good item arrangement can ensure that items is easy to spot and reachable within 30 seconds. During work, only the files and reference materials used are on the table. After use, the files and reference materials must be saved back to the original place. Third element is sweep, sapu. This sweep practice is an action or practice that will keep the workplace space and equipment in a clean condition without dirt such as dust, and this can help the ministry to improve the quality of workplace services because employees always feel comfortable with the cleanliness of their office. The cleaning task can be done by identifying the areas and tools needed in order to execute the sweep element properly. A schedule for who is in charge of a certain area, especially for the hidden areas or those that have blind spots, such as at the back of the cabinet or at the top of the shelf, should be implemented so that the division of tasks is clear among the employees. Cleaning standards should be set, such as how often cleaning of this area or equipment should be done in order to create a clean and comfortable working environment, as well as clear delegation of cleaning tasks. Also, while performing the cleaning process, make sure that all areas are in a clean condition, covering the equipment itself. It is also the employee's duty and responsibility to ensure that all cleaning equipment are clean and still safe to use. If there are any problems identified during or after the cleaning process, then problem recording and reporting should be done for maintenance purposes. Fourth element is uniform, seragam. Uniform or uniformity refers to a situation where all items are arranged and stored in the same state in the terms of shape, features, and other aspects. This uniform practice can be carried out by creating uniformity of procedures, layouts, and even standards. Moreover, to achieve more effective uniformity, a list of tasks should be made, such as who is responsible, why should be implemented, when should be resolved, which areas should be implemented, what actions should be taken, and lastly, how that uniformity can be achieved. Other than that, inventory checklists, cleaning procedures, maintenance schedules, and layout models should be set out in one standard or procedure so that uniformity can be established. The effectiveness of uniformity can be determined through good standards in setting workspace standards as well as having a positive visual impact internally and externally. Furthermore, not to forget, in achieving effective uniformity, rules and standards of operating procedures are very important, as this is also one of the ways to standardize the employees. Last but not least, our fifth element is consistency, sentiasa amal. The practice of always being consistent is an action taken to maintain all practices of sorting, arranging, sweep, and uniform, as well as making improvements to enhance the practice of EKSA. This is in line with the implementation of continuous overall improvement of the workplace area by people who are disciplined in making EKSA practices can be carried out effectively and efficiently. In maintaining this practice of constant, charity, and EKSA, internal audits should be conducted periodically and in stages. In addition, they also must carry out promotional activities continuously so that every citizen of the Ministry of Rural Development and others will know about the importance of EKSA. Next, this ministry can create a system of recognition and appreciation for the efforts shown by the employees of the Ministry of Rural Development. And last but not least, hold EKSA practice awareness programs on an ongoing basis through training. This can instill the spirit of EKSA in the employees' mind for the Ministry of Rural Development as well as other society. The effectiveness of this consistency element can always be measured through the excellence of the performance of audit activities in this EKSA practice. Moreover, effectiveness for this element can be seen when there is an increase in sense of discipline as well as teamwork in the community within the Ministry of Rural Development. That's all from my part. Thank you. And now I will pass to my friend Nur Jazima to continue this presentation.
Thank you, Chelsie. Now I am going to present about the benefit of implementation EKSA to the Ministry of Rural Department. The first benefit of EKSA to the Ministry of Rural Department is enhancing creativity and innovation, whereby creativity and innovation that exists in employees will give an advantage in the creativity of arranging goods or materials used in the office. The implementation of EKSA targeted by MOD will increase the creativity of all staff and innovate in carrying out duties as a work culture. Given the demands of change over time and every public entity needs to improve its efficiency and quality is a custom expectation for every organization. In this context, civil servants are seen to have the best opportunities for creativity and innovation. For instance, EKSA will have positive impact on the community when they serve the services of civil servants and have to go to certain government buildings such as Road Transport Department (JPJ) and the National Registration Department (JPN). Next, the practicing green programs in the government sector. EKSA support initiatives to build a green environment through green programs in the government sector, as it recognizes that environmental protection is a shared responsibility. Through these initiatives, each agency is asked to carry out activities such as recycling and improving energy efficiency to reduce the use of raw material. The application of EKSA for every civil servant is to ensure that they practice Go Green in their daily lives at work. According to the MOD's guidance provided by EKSA Main Committee, there are various ways to practice these Go Green programs. For instance, energy resources need to be conserved from time to time because the use of light needs to be used efficiently, and the temperature of the air conditioner should be optimal at all times. Other than that, the benefit of EKSA is the increased spirit of teamwork. The implementation of EKSA will create a spirit of teamwork among employees. This implementation will only be successful with the involvement of all members of the organization in carrying out each activity on an ongoing basis. MOD expects all civil servants in the agency to show good relations among members. The implementation of EKSA will assist MOD in ensuring that employees will proactive in performing their duties, knowledgeable and have skills. So, this will create a high-performing organizational culture in such public agencies. Last but not least, implementing EKSA is to ensure a conducive and safe work environment in the workplace. The implementation of EKSA will be able to create a clean, tidy, cheerful and safe workplace environment. Not only that, the EKSA main committee has given the guide to MOD to use to all staff so that the safety of the environment is always maintained. Safety guidelines will lower the risk of precedented accidents that will result in a lot of waste of resources if such an accident occur in the work area. Therefore, civil servants should not to be worried about their safety while on duty as they work based on the guidelines that have been given. That is all from me. Thank you.
Back with me again. In conclusion, EKSA that was introduced by Mampu as a rebranding initiative of the public sector Amalan 5S, which consists of sorting, arranging, swap, uniform, and last is consistency, is a concept that can be easily grasped by all member employed in Ministry of Rural Development. This is because it only requires conventional and common knowledge, discipline, and dedication from the members. Plus, Amalan 5S also a practice that may be applied in any other all organization. We can also conclude that 5S concept can help to improve collaboration, self-discipline, and a sense of duty and love for the company. In addition, 5S also can help you establish a productive, safe, and sanitary work environment using DID WPKL world-class service delivery system. The effective implementation of 5S requires the management, continual commitment, and the participation of all citizens. In short, 5S is a continuous basis to monitor the standard of performance of Ministry of Rural Development service delivery.